Henry was riding in this black Dodge Challenger down Airline Highway when a car pulls up beside them and opens fire. At least one gunshot hit Henry. She later died at St. James Hospital.
Losing a loved one isn't easy at all. It's one of everyone's worst nightmares. We will explore a difficult issue today: the tragic fall of a young life. The grade 10 student lives in Louisiana, but her life was taken by senseless violence that occurred in June of 2024. Her story will truly live in the hearts of her family, friends, and us all. While a unique and devastating personal story, what happened to Aariah also underscores the larger issue of gun violence in America, as well as some aspects that continue after her death when it comes to pursuing justice for crimes once they've been committed. Let's begin by discussing Aariah's identity. Like any other teenager, Aariah Henry was only 16 years old. She was born in Marrero, Louisiana in 2007 and was a beloved member of her family and community. Aariah's family included her parents, Clarence Henry Sr. and Bianca Bridgewater, along with her stepfather, Gerald Washington. Her father, Clarence Henry Sr., was particularly devastated by the loss of his daughter, as were her many relatives, including her siblings, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins. She had aspirations, hopes, and a promising future awaiting her. Her infectious smile, warm personality, and ability to make everyone feel welcome were all traits for which she was recognized. Friends knew her as Raya, while her family saw her as a cherished daughter and sister who added immense happiness to their lives. Her father, along with her brothers, had a profound love for her. Aariah was the type of individual who left a lasting impression on others, and her mere presence could illuminate any space. She was a student who participated in community activities and enjoyed socializing with friends and family. Similar to numerous adolescents, she had her entire future in front of her. She was contemplating her future, college, and life goals. Her homeroom instructor and classmates pointed out that she devoted herself to her studies and did not participate in any activities that may have sparked violence. When Aariah was brutally killed in a targeted murder that shattered her neighborhood, she was known for being an ordinary teenager trying to live her life. However, she lost everything she had in a moment. Everything ended for Aariah when she was tragically murdered in a deliberate shooting in Reserve, Louisiana, on June 2, 2024. The assault took place at approximately 2 a.m. as Aariah was traveling in a black Dodge Challenger on Airline Highway. Authorities reported that a silver vehicle approached them and began shooting. The gunman probably aimed at different people in the car, maybe the three men inside the vehicle along with Aariah, who was driving. But unfortunately, when they were asked to give any details about the shooting, they declined to help with the inquiry. Despite attempts to retrieve the two vehicles and security footage from the event, no one has been arrested yet. Sheriff Mike Tregray stated that Aariah did not incite the violence, describing her death as a meaningless tragedy. Her school and community are grieving her tragic death, with her family and residents also mourning the incident and demanding justice. The rest of the teenagers in the vehicle physically survived, but they bear the emotional wounds from that horrifying evening. Could you just think of the terror and bewilderment they likely experienced? One minute they were relaxing and having a good time at night, and the next moment they found themselves in a situation that no one should ever face. Aariah Henry wasn't only a victim, but also a cherished daughter, sister, and friend, with a whole community supporting her. The teachers labeled her a benevolent, determined, and promising young lady. Law enforcement is still trying to figure out the specifics of what happened that evening in which Aariah was hit during the confusion that followed. Her friends tried to take her to the hospital for medical help, but she passed away shortly after reaching the hospital. The tragedy is compounded by the fact that Aariah was probably not the intended victim. With the potential male occupants of the vehicle, as the intended victims. Due to their refusal to communicate with investigators, there is reason to believe these people may have been aware of or involved in the attack. If they cooperate, then the case can likely be cracked. Aariah's family feels even more pain and frustration because of this reluctance, as they urgently seek justice and explanations for why their daughter's life was tragically ended. Sheriff Mike Tregray has expressed the importance of community participation in solving the case. He has urged anyone with information to step forward, emphasizing that those accountable for Aariah's death should not be allowed to walk free. The sheriff's office managed to get surveillance video and find both the car Aariah was in and the suspected getaway vehicle used by the shooters, but no one has been arrested yet. Investigators think that a quicker resolution could be reached if those with more information about the shooting were willing to come forward and speak. The suspect's automobile, which was reported stolen in New Orleans months before the shooting, is among the 2 cars that the cops have seized from the scene of the incident. It appears that the assailants tried to hide their traces because the automobile was discovered abandoned and covered in a tarp. Although the suspect's vehicle is seen following Aariah's automobile before to the ambush, surveillance footage only provides authorities with a timeline and few details about the shooter's identity. Although they haven't yet produced any noteworthy breakthroughs, this abandoned car and surveillance footage are 2 of the most important pieces of evidence that law enforcement is utilizing. The fact that the gunman's vehicle was reported stolen months before the incident makes this case special. Given that the registered owner has no known connection to the incident, this complicates the inquiry. The fact that the car was covered in a tarp suggests that the gunmen were trying to hide their tracks, which suggests some preparation and knowledge of possible observation. This particular detail has sparked debate on the possibility that the gunman knew exactly who was riding in Aariah's car and whether or not the assault was planned. In an attempt to persuade the 3 guys who were in the car with Aariah to assist, law enforcement will probably step up their efforts. It is quite more challenging to determine the attackers' identities or to establish a clear motivation in the absence of their evidence. To get these witnesses to testify, legal tactics, including providing immunity or other incentives, could be taken into consideration. Despite this, law enforcement is moving forward, mostly depending on crime cameras and other technology instruments to compile more data. On top of that, numerous local media groups, including Louisiana Radio Network, WWL-TV, and others, have covered Aariah Henry's unexpected death. In an attempt to identify the shooters, the sheriff's office has made CCTV footage of the events leading up to the shooting public. Vigils have been conducted, and media requests to the public to assist in solving the case are still ongoing. The passing of Aariah has caused immense sorrow for her family. Gerald Henry, her father, has openly expressed his sorrow, characterizing his daughter as a source of happiness and brightness in their existence. For the Henry family, the harsh reality of every parent's worst nightmare has come true as they have experienced the loss of a child. Aariah's brothers have been profoundly impacted by her passing as well. The connection between siblings is special, and losing that bond so suddenly has been a lot for them to handle. Her friends are also finding it hard to understand a world without Aariah. Many people were shocked at the sudden loss of the kind and promising Aariah, as evidenced by the massive turnout at her funeral. Before anything is done to tackle the widespread gun violence affecting communities like theirs, how many additional young lives need to be lost? Gun violence poses a grave issue in the United States, and Aariah's experience is just one of many tragic incidents that occur annually. In the year 2024, tens of thousands of individuals have already been killed by gun violence, with the death toll steadily rising. Young people like Aariah, who should be prioritizing their education, relationships, and upcoming opportunities, are unfortunately getting caught up in an ongoing cycle of violence. The battle for justice continues for Aariah's family. They have been outspoken in urging anyone with information to speak up. They seek answers not only for themselves, but also to prevent any other family from experiencing the same suffering. Aariah's father, in particular, has strongly promoted the cause of justice, encouraging anyone with information to come forward. Although he accepts that nothing can reverse his daughter's death, he is committed to ensuring that those at fault face consequences. The situation has garnered interest outside of Reserve, Louisiana. Aariah's story has resonated with many individuals who were previously unfamiliar with her, as local news channels have closely followed the investigation. This has raised awareness about the wider problem of gun violence, especially its effects on youths. As Aariah's family stays determined for justice, there is optimism that her narrative will spark transformation. Aariah's passing isn't just a tragedy in the community. It mirrors a crisis affecting the whole nation. Communities all over the nation are dealing with comparable losses, and the discussion regarding gun violence must be heightened. How can we stop more pointless killings like Aariah's from happening in the future? What measures can we take to make sure that the voices of families affected by this violence are acknowledged? These questions must be raised and require immediate answers. However, despite the community's unity, there was also a sense of anger and frustration present. The police have been continuing their investigation into Aariah's death, but no one has been arrested yet. Sheriff Mike Tregray, who has been heading the inquiry, emphasized the importance of holding accountable those who are responsible for the crime. He stated that these people should not deserve to be on the streets. Just in the year 2023, over 48,000 individuals in the United States died as a result of gun violence. That number is incredibly astonishing, and hidden behind every statistic is a narrative, a household, a society that has been fragmented. Aariah's tale is just one among numerous others, yet its significance remains unchanged. Her passing is more than just a personal loss. It's an issue that must be tackled on a larger scale. However, Aariah's family is not simply sitting idly by, waiting for justice to be served. They have openly urged anyone with information to step forward. They have also been pushing for increased efforts to avoid gun violence in the future. The focus is not only on identifying the individuals accountable for Aariah's demise, but also on ensuring that no other family experiences a similar tragedy. The public has come together to support them, organizing peaceful demonstrations and ceremonies, demanding justice and advocating for reforms. They desire explanations. They hope to find solace in the possibility that Aariah's death could lead to something positive, despite its senselessness. The memory of Aariah is kept alive by those who care for her. Her family, friends, and community are committed to preserving her legacy. They discuss her, they exchange tales of her past, and they ensure that her name is remembered by others. Although Aariah's life ended prematurely, it has now become a representation of strength and serves as a prompt to tackle the underlying reasons behind violence in our community. If you're watching and have any information about Aariah's case, please speak up. Her family should receive explanations. They are entitled to receive justice. The community should be able to feel secure once more, with the assurance that those who committed this heinous crime are no longer at large. Let's pause and consider how we can stop gun violence. It's more than just apprehending the offenders retroactively. It involves tackling the underlying reasons, like enhancing community initiatives, offering enhanced assistance for vulnerable youth, or promoting more effective policies to prevent guns from ending up in the wrong hands. The death of Aariah serves as a prompt to the fragile nature of life and how rapidly it can be snatched away. However, it also serves as a cue that we hold the ability to create an impact, to support change, and to stop this from occurring to another individual. Surveillance footage and crime cameras captured the incident, showing the suspect's vehicle following them from a gas station before the attack. Investigators have recovered both cars involved in the shooting, including the suspect's vehicle, which was found abandoned and hidden under a tarp. Despite having evidence from cameras, the 3 adult men who were in the car with Aariah are refusing to cooperate with the investigation, making it difficult for authorities to pinpoint the exact motive or identify the shooters. Sheriff Mike Trigray has expressed frustration with the lack of cooperation from the men and emphasized the urgency of bringing the responsible individuals to justice. The authorities continue to ask for help from the public, hoping that anyone with information will come forward to assist in solving the case. A $5,000 reward will also be given to those who give information that can help lead to the arrest. Right now, all we can do is sit tight and pray that good news comes forward soon.